The biggest update of the year is finally here. Welcome to the Minecraft Bedrock Edition version 1.21.0. We are going to go through every single change, but this is your final reminder. Make sure you back up your favorite worlds. Sit tight, because this is going to be a long one. On a more serious note though, guys, I spent over 2.5 hours preparing today's video. We are going to go through every single new feature, every single change, tweak, bug fix, and so much more in this video. Can we get 3,000 likes? I really appreciate it. Starting with the new features that have been introduced in Minecraft 1.21, we have a new structure. That is the trial chambers. Trial chambers are a new structure in the overworld where players can explore and take on combat challenges, a relatively common find throughout the deep slate layer of the underground. Natural mob spawning does not occur inside. It is similar to ancient cities. Never starts inside a deep dark biome, but sometimes it can overlap it. The layout of each trial chamber is procedurally generated and can include traps, rewards, and a variety of combat areas. On this occasion, we managed to find ourselves in ancient city, but relatively close is the brand new trial chambers. Now remember, these generate differently every single time. So if you go and find one somewhere else, it won't look the exact same as this. Now, this one has generated around about -20. They are common, as I mentioned, in the deep slate layers. They are typically made up of the brand new Tuff blocks. These have been expanded in this update, but also copper as well. If you enjoy SMP, realms, or servers, this is a great experience together. It can be conquered as a solo player, but as multiplayer, it is going to be a lot more challenging. In fact, a brand new exclusive mob can spawn in the trial chambers. It is called the Breeze. Here is its spawn egg. It drops 1 to 2 breeze rods when killed by a player. The number of breeze rods dropped is affected by the looting enchantment. So let me show you what this looks like. Let's spawn this. They do look relatively cool. One of my favorite mobs in Minecraft so far. They're incredibly fast. If we kill this just with sharpness here, you'll notice that we managed to get just one on this occasion. If we spawn another one and kill this one with looting, on this occasion, we got 5. Now, again, this can be increased. I think it's up to 8. If you kill this, if you're lucky, you can get a lot more. On this occasion, we got 7. It is highly recommended if you're killing a breeze to make sure you have looting, because not only is this going to be useful later on, but it also produces something called a wind charge, which we'll talk about a little bit later on today. The breeze mob can deflect almost all projectiles, making it immune to ranged combat, with one notable exception. It cannot deflect wind charges. So if we was to grab the breeze here, and we go ahead and start throwing tridents at it, it can actually deflect it. Now, this will bounce back to you, and this will do damage to you. It's the same for snowballs. It's the same for regular arrows. They will bounce back. And if you've got a pretty powerful bow, this will do a lot of damage to you. And obviously, it's going to be the same for this as well. One thing I will say is, just like a lot of mobs in Minecraft, you can actually disable the breeze using a boat. But if we go to /game mode S, they can still attack you here. And you'll most likely die more so from fall damage rather than the breeze's impact. As demonstrated, it has a wind charge attack, which deals a small amount of damage when colliding directly with an entity. Wind charges break decorated pots and chorus flower blocks upon collision. Wind bursts have the effect of activating certain blocks, and that being non-iron doors and trapdoors are flipped. Fence gates are flipped. Buttons are pressed. Levers are flipped. Bells are rung and swung. Lit candles are extinguished. Wind bursts do not have any effect on iron doors, iron trapdoors, or any block being held in its position by a redstone signal. So if we bring our windy friend over to here, and by the way, he jumps incredibly high, and we hide behind these things, he will actually break them. Doors are activated. You name it. Things will break. Candles are extinguished. I need it. There we go. It's perfect. There we go. So everything gets activated here. This is a perfect example. Although he has not destroyed any of my decorated pots just yet. Let's see if we can get him to do that. Come on. Come on. There we go. So yeah, another mob was also introduced. This is called the Bogged, a new variation of skeleton that shoots poisonous arrows. And here is everything you need to know about this. They are easier to take down with 16 health instead of 20 health, which is what a normal skeleton has. They attack at a slower interval of 3.5 seconds instead of 2 seconds. Has a chance to drop arrows of poison when killed by players. These mossy and mushroom-covered skeletons spawn naturally in swamps and mangrove swamps. Can also be found spawning from trial spawners in some trial chambers. They drop 2 mushrooms when sheared. And I absolutely love these. I think their design is incredible. I definitely want to see more variations of skeletons. Anyway, this is what it looks like. Yes, it does burn in natural daylight. If you kill it, you will have a chance to get regular arrows, to get bones, but also poison arrows. Now, ignore everything that this book says, right? It's not weaker. It sounds it, but trust me, those poison-tipped arrows, when they hit you, are incredibly deadly, especially if there's like 3 or 4 of these. Now, one thing you are able to do, if we put this inside of here, is actually shear it. It has mushrooms on top, so you can see here it's got a couple of different mushrooms. If you shear this, you'll see that they will drop on the floor. On this occasion, I got 1 brown, and I got a red one. In Minecraft 1.21, we have a brand new weapon. It is called the Mace. And this is what it looks like. It practically looks like a hammer. And this is very heavy and hard hitting. It has a default attack damage of 5, but ignore that because this thing can be the strongest weapon in Minecraft. Now, as it does mention, can be crafted with a breeze rod and a heavy core. Remember, you get your breeze rods by killing the breeze. But there's also another item you want to obtain. It's this. It's called the heavy core, but it is a rare item. This is not something you're going to get early on in your Minecraft worlds. In order to craft this, you go ahead and place down a breeze rod and a heavy core. It is not a shapeless recipe, so it has to be done like this. You'll end up with this. It can only be obtained from ominous vaults, which we will go through a little bit later on. By jumping from a high place with this weapon, as long as you hit your target, you do not take any fall damage at all. Doesn't matter if you jumped from 200 blocks in the sky. If you hit your intended target, no damage is given to you. It is negated. But you can use this like a regular weapon. It doesn't do like the crazy smash. If you do this, you need to go at least 1.5 blocks up. The higher you climb, the more damage you will do. Also, these really cool particles will appear. It does say using it will decrease its durability, like any other weapon. But it can be repaired with a breeze rod at an anvil. So you are going to need these. If it has taken damage, this goes in here. And this is how you repair it back to full durability. As we demonstrated, it has a smash attack. When the player falls 1.5 blocks or higher, a smash attack is triggered, which has multiple effects. I wrote it all down in this book. We have the safe fall. Basically, this resets all vertical momentum and negates any fall damage accumulated from the fall. We have extra damage. Does more damage the further the player fell before hitting the target with it. For the first 3 blocks, Fallen added 4 damage per block. For the next 5 blocks, Fallen adds 2 damage per block. For any blocks Fallen after, add 1 damage per block. It also says it has greater knockback, or that entities nearby will also be knocked back. Can be used in combination with wind charges to launch a player and deliver devastating smash attacks to enemy. Now, this can also be combined with the following enchantments: Mending, Unbreaking, Smite, Bane of Arthropoops, Fire Aspect, and, weirdly enough, Curse of Vanishing. But don't panic, because new enchantments did get introduced. 3 new enchantments have been added, which are exclusive to the Mace. Starting with Density. This comes in versions 1 to 5. As explained in here, it is a common enchantment, can be obtained via the enchantment table and on books in random chests. Maces enchanted with Density do more damage per fallen block per density level. And how this works is damage dealt per fallen block is increased by 0.5 per level of density, and mutually exclusive with Breach, Smite, and Bane of Arthropoops. So as I explained before, if you go up each block regularly, it does obviously more damage. This is going to increase it. So let's do / game mode creative here. Let's go ahead and summon some cows. We'll do a couple of them. The higher you jump with this, the more damage you are going to do. This thing is a monster, and this is what people have been using to kill the Warden. Now, it did get nerfed, so you are going to have to go a lot higher. But yeah, if you are willing to jump really high and attack a Warden, you can one-shot it. The next enchantment is Breach. It comes in versions 1 to 4. As explained in the book, it is a rarer enchantment, but can still be accessed via the enchantment table. Also found on random books inside of chests. Maces enchanted with Breach reduce the effectiveness of armor on the target. The effectiveness of the armor is reduced by 15% per Breach level. Mutually exclusive with Density, Smite, and Bane of Arthropoops. So basically, if your friend has full netherite armor and you hit this, it's going to do a lot of damage as if your friend didn't necessarily have netherite armor on. This one is scary for a lot of players. And the last one is going to be Wind Burst. Comes in versions 1. That's literally it. You can get it at 3, but listen to how you obtain it. Unique enchantments, which can only be found in ominous vaults. We'll explain them in a minute. Only Wind Burst 1 can be found. Higher levels must be obtained by combining them in an anvil. Very similar to Thorns. If you want to get Thorns 3, you have to combine it via books. Maces enchanted with Wind Burst will emit Wind Burst upon hitting an enemy, launching the attacker upwards and enabling the linking of smash attacks, one after another. So if I use the wind charge and then hit him and then lands on another one, you can keep going up. Now, very recently, this was buffed. So, like, you go incredibly high now. You can see it's like a pogo stick. So, yes, this one is everyone's favorite, but very hard to obtain. Moving on to new blocks. If you're a redstoner, you will enjoy this. We have the introduction of a crafter. And this is automatic crafting in Minecraft. Now, it does not work the same as a crafting table. The UIs somewhat look the same, right? However, this one, you can block out a specific part. So if you wanted to make sticks, you could just have this. If you just wanted to make iron nuggies, for example, you can just have this. If you wanted to make yourself some armor, a chest plate, for example, you can just do this. Now, you cannot craft anything regular inside of there. In order to make this, here is your recipe. 2 pieces of redstone, crafting table in the middle, dropper, and then you're going to need some iron, and this is going to be the outcome. So if I was to go ahead and put this here, it does, we need to change the direction here. It will make a noise. You can hear the noise. That means it's active. If I go ahead and grab myself some iron, But also, let's grab ourselves some of these. Now, you can see here, it is trying to be active, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put these inside of here. Now, this will automatically spit them out. It will automatically spit out your item. This is going to be a game changer for Bedrock Edition and Java players, to be honest. If we put these in there, it's going to spit out sticks. Automatic crafting is finally here. I imagine most of you know what a crafter is and how it works. But if you do want to learn a little bit more about this, the official changelog down below does explain everything you need to know. Or I recommend following some of the best redstone creators in the Minecraft community. A brand new spawner was introduced. It's called the Trial Spawner. Works very different compared to your regular spawner. Has a really crispy sound as well. It says a new variant of monster spawner that ejects rewards upon defeat. Cannot be crafted nor obtained by players in survival. Instead, they can be found naturally throughout the trial chambers. Now, we have a little bit more information regarding this. Unlike normal spawners, a trial spawner will spawn a limited number of mobs, proportion to its current challenge level. The more players, the more mobs that spawn, and the harder it is to defeat. But the rewards will be so much better. This is what I'm talking about, why this update is really good for SMPs and playing multiplayer with your friends. It can spawn a mob regardless of any light level requirement the mob has. Spawned mobs are persistent. Once all mobs are defeated, the trial spawner will eject a number of rewards. This is proportional to the current challenge level. And after the rewards have been ejected, the trial spawner goes into cooldown mode for 30 minutes, during which it will not spawn any mobs. At that point, you can then go back and fight it again. It's constant rewards. It's a really cool feature. So if I go to survival, you can see it's now become active. I now need to defeat this. Whether you're doing this in survival or creative or adventure, whether you're doing this in a chamber, etc. So this has now been defeated and the items will pop out. One of these being a key. Let's talk about it. So different mobs can spawn down here and each spawner will be covered in different blocks. So for example, this one here is going to be spiders. I can't remember them all, but you can get baby zombies and things like that. Now, when we defeat this, this will in fact eject some rewards. This will open up. So we've got one more to kill here. So as you'll see here, this pops open. Then we are given the key, which we will talk about. So each level has different spawners, different things that can spawn. You just got to go ahead and find them. So we should have... Oh, this is a spawn position. All right, let's see what else we can find around here. Dude, this looks so cool because of... There's another spider one. This one looks so cool because of the deep dark stuff. So the further you go in this, the different spawners you are going to find... So inside of here, this one is going to be a breeze because of the blocks around it. So we need to kill, I think it's 2 of these when you're on your own. This also activates a whole bunch of traps, which we were talking about at the start of today's video. So there's another key there. We have skeleton ones. Get rid of them. Let's see if they're going to give us anything as well. Here we go. Come on. A lot of mobs at once can be so deadly. So the bones obviously being skeletons. There's slime ones, there's cave spiders. On this occasion, we managed to get ourselves a regeneration potion. A great way to know if this is active or not is, of course, the smoke particles. Once they go away, it will then be active again. Obviously, we got a trial key. Rewards can be determined depending on how many of you are doing it. But this is a new introduction. It is called a vault. And this key is used for this vault. There are 2 types of keys and 2 types of vaults. If you're away from this, it'll have like particles basically going towards it to say, hey, this key can be used here. To know if this can be used, it will open its mouth. When you tap on this, again, this is an RNG factor here. You can get items from this. You can get emeralds, arrows, wind charges, golden apples, and so much more. So remember, the trial key is going to be for the regular vault. This key, which is an ominous trial key, you need to be in the ominous state, which we will go ahead and talk about a little bit later on. Moving on to the copper family. The copper family of blocks has been expanded to add chiseled copper, copper grate, copper bulb, copper door, copper trapdoor, oxidized, and waxed variants of all of them. So there is so many of these, by the way. So many of them have been introduced to the game. I'm not going to go ahead and place them all, but I'll show you guys a couple of different ones. Obviously, we've got the stairs. We have the slabs. You already know about the full blocks, the grate blocks, which I believe these can be waterlogged. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. Yes, so you can use these, I believe, for farms if you wanted to. Trapdoors of all kind and doors of all kind. Here are the chiseled versions. We do have a bunch of the copper bulbs, and obviously we have the weathered variations of these. So the chiseled can be obtained via this. These are a light source in Minecraft. If we grab ourselves a button here, and we place these on top of here, and we flick these and turn them on, you'll notice here that it stays on, unlike a redstone lamp. But you'll also notice they have different levels of light. That is because the more it's waxed, the less it actually produces in light. So if we go ahead and just grab, or get rid of all of these and grab this, you'll see here what you're able to make. You can make the chiseled, you can make the grates. They're all available inside of here. Obviously, you can still craft these regularly as well. You can use an axe in order to deoxidize these. So if you do this, the light level obviously gets brighter. So if we start changing this, you'll see here that the light level gets a little bit brighter. That one obviously made a very, very big difference. The Tuff family. Tuff blocks have also been expanded, introducing even more. They all start with the regular Tuff, and all of these can be obtained via here. The chiseled version, chiseled Tuff bricks, the polished version, the slabs, the stairs, the walls, the bricks. Again, these are typically what the trial chambers are made up of. They look so good, and I know builders are really, really going to love all of these blocks. I love this. The polished Tuff is so clean. So a lot of people are happy about this. Let me know in the comment section which one is your favorite. Moving on to items. Are you still struggling to find yourself a trial chamber? No problem. There is a trial explorer map used to locate a nearby trial chamber. Level up a cartographer villager to journeyman for the opportunity to trade for this map. So you need one of these. You need to get it to this level here, which is level 3. You're then going to have to trade with them in order to get yourself this map. And as you guys can see here, it's showing us that we actually do have one relatively close. One thing I would like to say, though, is I don't believe there's a right or wrong way to enter the trial chamber. So I'm going to actually see where this is going to take me to. Let's just keep going down here real quick, because I don't know if it puts you in a specific room or anything like that. So this is taking us all the way down. Should put us into the trial chamber. This where is it? See what I'm saying? / game mode spectator. It can't be any lower. We actually went past it. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't always put you in like a specific room, right? It just takes you relatively close to it. Sometimes you'll mine into it. Sometimes you might not. I kind of missed this just. Ominous bottle. An item which can be consumed by the player to receive the bad omen effect for 1 hour and 40 minutes. Now, it comes in versions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, from my understanding, it makes no difference which one you have. I do think the developers will change this later on. I don't think they had enough time. In order to obtain this, when you kill a pillager captain, which is the one that has the banner on its head, it will now drop this. You will not be given the bad omen instantly anymore. It is now down to player choice. So if I go ahead and consume this, a new effect will pop up, the bad omen V. Now, obviously, we have the allotted time. If I go anywhere near a village now, it will change its effect to a raid omen. A new effect will pop up, and as you can see, I now have 30 seconds to either go and do a raid and prepare, also you have these cool effects, or drink a milk bucket to cancel this out. Players now have control over the omen, and this can also be consumed inside of the trial chambers. If you enter a trial chambers with an ominous bottle and consume it, it will transform into a trial omen. Now, a trial omen is a lot more challenging to complete, but the rewards are going to be a lot higher. Now, obviously, if you manage to defeat this, you will be given rewards, which is a new type of key, which can be used for an ominous vault. Now, this is chaos. It's chaos. There's more mobs. It's a lot more challenging, and trust me, the more people that do this, the harder it becomes. Now, one thing I will say about this is the particles will look a little bit different. You'll see here that they will have better weapons and stuff like that. So at this point, we are trying to grab ourselves some better stuff here. You'll also notice, though, that special events happen. You'll have these special events popping out. They can be arrows, they can be poison, they can be weakness, you name it. All kinds of things will actually happen here. So we need to just keep killing these, because we need to defeat this. We managed to get the key from this one. As you can see here, the trial omen is active. You can only get this when it is active, and you can see the random events are happening right now. Now, this is used for a different kind of vault, and that is going to be not that one. The vault will look slightly different than this. It won't fit inside of there. This is the one you are looking for. The pattern on top is slightly different. Now, even if we change our game mode here to creative, this still just gives you a regular vault, but it's not the same. You cannot get these vaults in creative, which kind of sucks. But if we tap on this, the loot inside of here is going to be better. You can get only the... I mean, that was terrible. Let's be real. You can get the Mace's heavy core only from this, not from this. A few more details on the wind charge. As I mentioned earlier on, in order to obtain this, you kill a breeze. It will drop a breeze rod. One of these will produce 4 of these. Now, as it does say, grants 10% more knockback than the breezes, but has a much smaller area of impact. Can be used inside of this, but you can kind of essentially rocket jump with this, and by doing this, you will not take any form of fall damage. So we got a game mode S. If I was to go from here all the way to here, I won't take any damage. But if I go from here all the way down here, you can take damage. So please bear that in mind. You can also kind of clutch save yourself with this, but it is a lot harder to do on Bedrock compared to Java. We have new pottery sherds. These can be found in the trial chambers. We have Guster, we have Flow, and we have Scrape. You'll see these dotted around the trial chambers. New banner patterns were introduced, and these are going to be the designs available. These are found only inside of the trial chambers. This one here is going to be the, I think this is Flow, and this can be found in regular vaults. Meanwhile, this one is a lot rarer. This is Guster and found in the ominous vaults. This is also going to be the same for 2 brand new armor trims. This one can be found in a regular vault, and this one can be found in the ominous ones. And this one right here is going to be the Flow upgrade, and this one right here is going to be your bolt version. Let me know in the comments section which one you prefer. New music discs did get added. Just like the previous features, they are obtained via the trial chamber vaults. So this one right here, which is Precipice, can only be found in a regular vault. The next one we have here is going to be the Lena Rain Creator. This one is found in the ominous ones. As for the last one, which is a different version of Creator by Lena Rain, it says can be found rarely in decorated pots in the trial chambers. So a lot of RNG features introduced, but if you would like to get this, you have to go ahead and break these. 20 brand new paintings were introduced. Now, obviously, it's RNG chance to get this, but there's so many, so many incredible new designs that have been introduced. Again, you're just going to have to do a lot of placing and breaking, in order to obtain these. So I'll just start placing down a couple of them so you can see some of the designs. But yeah, go and mess around with these. That was a new one. In your spare time. And just go and collect them all. I really hate that it's RNG because it makes it a little bit harder now to find them all. That's a cowboy one. We have... I'm not sure if it's another one of these, but you guys get the idea. There's so many new paintings in this update. In this update, we have new status effects and new potions. I showed you one or two of them when we were inside of the trial chambers with the ominous effect. We have this, which is wind charging. You have to put a breeze rod inside of a brewing stand in order to obtain this. To obtain weaving, you need to put a cobweb inside of there. To obtain oozing, it's a slime block. To obtain infested, it needs to be stone. Now, I'm going to go ahead and drink each one of these and show you guys all of the effects. So when we drink this and this, you'll see we have different symbols on the side of our screen here. They're pretty cool, to be honest with you. As you can see here, we now have these. Now, the best way to see these is, for example, let's grab ourselves some lingering potions here, and I'll show you what they look like. If I summon a whole bunch of husks, I'm going to go ahead and hit them with all of these effects here. So these are also going to be included as well. You'll end up with a bunch of really cool particles, but I'm going to go ahead and just give myself some additional things here. When it comes to infested, whenever mobs attack you, there's a chance to summon silverfish, which is what is happening there. But when we kill these, they can summon... Well, one summoned cobwebs. One can summon the likes of... Let's try oozing, because this can summon slimes when you kill them. There's some slimes. Let's try... What else do we got here? Wind charge. You kill these, you get like a knockback there. And these can be brewed by players, but also randomly happen as well. They're classed as negative effects. But I kind of really like the cobweb one. You can move through cobwebs a little bit quicker with this effect. They also added 4 new achievements. We have Revolting. Unlock a vault using an ominous trial key. Who needs rockets? Use a wind charge to launch yourself upwards at least 8 blocks. Crafters crafting crafters. Be near a crafter when it's crafting a crafter. Overkill. Deal 50 hearts of damage in a single hit using the mace. They also updated the player profile. Let's read the change log. For those of you that don't have access to this, don't worry. They said that they're slowly rolling this out over the next couple of weeks, but they've changed like achievements on view. You can compare with friends. You can also see time played, blocks mined, mobs defeated, and distance traveled. When this does officially get introduced, I'll probably make a separate video. Known issues in this version though. Using Trident with Riptide enchantment during wind charge jump does not negate wind charge fall damage protection. Moving on to fixes and changes. Performance and stability. Fixed a crash that could occur when teleporting to a region where a piston was pushing a chest. We have a bug report. Basically, this could cause crashes. Been reported for quite some time. Should finally be fixed in this version. Fixed a crash that could occur when the player began losing air. Containers being cloned over no longer keep their container screens open and cause crashes. Fixed an issue that could cause the loading screen to get stuck for some time, around 41%. We have a bug report. A very long time reoccurring issue. If you've ever seen this screen before, it should be fixed as of today. Fixed not being able to load into worlds with some texture packs. We have a bug report. There was a problem loading one of your packs. If you've ever had this issue with a specific texture pack, that should no longer occur. Fixed crashes that could occur when creating worlds on new realms and backing out at the online safety dialog box. Supports prevention of app/flow restart when dark mode toggled on or off on across Android devices. General. Fixed an issue where the Let It Go trophy did not unlock on PlayStation 4. The Castaway achievement can now be reliably unlocked. The game now ensures the proper controller gets assigned to player 1 when playing on Xbox. We have a bug report. Xbox, no response when pressing some or all buttons on controller. A long time reported issue. They are saying that it's finally fixed in this version. So if you had this issue, go and test it and see if it's fixed. Fixed a bug causing character creator skins with removed eyes to break skin texture loading. We have a bug report. I've had this issue before, and I think all players have experienced this as well, where nothing loads. Again, it's due to the character's eyes, apparently, but it should be fixed now. Moving on to gameplay. Added 4 new ambient cave sounds. They also added 9 new music tracks. I did make separate videos on them. I'm not going to go through them all in today's video. Players can now stand on boats that float on water. We have a bug report. This was a parity issue where Bedrock Edition players could not stand on boats. It's now fixed. So now, if you get in a boat and get out, you can stand on it safely. You can crouch, you can jump. So finally, it's now possible. Sprinting speed is no longer activated with a delay. Flower forests now generate all expected flower types. Mobs, armadillos no longer repeatedly roll and unroll when receiving damage from blocks such as cactus, magma blocks, etc. Naturally spawning mobs now spawn at the center of a block. This fixes many issues where mobs could not spawn on slopes, in narrow passageways, and in other situations where they were expected to. This one change is going to break a lot of farms, but it is a good change. Listen carefully. For technical players, this bug fix will mean that some player-made mob farms no longer fully work. We appreciate the time the community puts into building clever farms, and we try to avoid breaking farms when we can. In this case, we felt that this change was necessary because it improves the way spawning works in many biomes. Now, you know it's a good change when Silent Whisper said it's a good change. Obviously, it sucks that you have to edit your farms, but going forward, this is good news. I believe he released a new video for raid farms anyway. The types of damage that can cause a mob to panic have been restricted. So now it says only the following damage causes now induce panic. So campfire, entity attack, all of these will now obviously cause the panic. Moving on to blocks. Fixed a recipe bug where any type of stone slab could be used to craft a grindstone with crimson mangrove or warped planks. It can now only accept the actual normal stone slab, no other types of stone. So a slight nerf there. Who be reporting that kind of issue? Cauldrons filled with potions now keep the color of the potion when they're pushed by a piston. So you can see here it's not changing. They added unique sounds for breaking and placing cobwebs. Items dropped from blocks destroyed in an explosion now get merged into bigger item stacks before spawning in the world. All blocks now drop items by default when exploded with TNT. Added a new game rule to control decay of drops from TNT explosions, named TNT Explosion Drops Decay. The rule can be set to true to re-enable the previous behavior, where not all blocks would drop when TNT was exploded. So we got a game mode S here. If we light this up, whatever blocks it destroys, it will in fact drop every single one, so you can replace it. This is, again, another parity issue. They'll also drop, I believe, as bigger quantities. So if we now go ahead and fill all of this in, we should now have enough blocks to fill it in. Again, I didn't even know this was a thing on Java, but yeah, it is. So this should well be. It doesn't look like 64 blocks, but this should be enough for us to fill this in as of today. But if you don't like this, like I mentioned, they do have a game rule where you can turn this off, and it is absolutely perfect. My OCD appreciated that. Air bubbles. The oxygen bar now disappears immediately when switching to creative mode underwater. Added an empty state for air bubbles on the oxygen bar, along with a wobble when the player is drowning. Added a popping sound when bubbles pop on the oxygen bar. So look and listen to this. Look at the bubble bar. We have a new one introduced. So a slight wobble when you start taking damage. But I like the new air bubbles. So we do have some graphical changes. They changed anti-aliasing from default at 4. It's now 2 for better performance. Fixed character creator hair and headwear, which was clipping through pumpkins and mob heads. Status effect particles are no longer blended into one. Now, what this means is you're now able to have up to 8 particle effects going on. So it kind of looks like a rainbow. I'll be honest. You've probably seen it throughout today's video. So the more you drink, the more particles you're going to have. And it's going to display a whole range of these rather than just displaying one type. So you'll see here, we kind of look like a rainbow rather than it just showing one type of particle. Multiple will be available. Realms, accessibility, touch controls. Let's read the changelog. If you're still watching in today's video, let me know in the comments section. I just didn't feel like I needed to place all of these on signs. A lot of these are just general fixes, but if you are interested, please revert to the changelog. I'll leave it down below. User interface. Added a new HUD overlay that displays the number of days played in a world. The overlay is enabled with the show days played world setting. Let me show you this. So if you want to access this, head into your settings, go ahead and scroll down and turn this on. It will actually show you the pre-existing times you've survived. So if I do /time set and we do sunrise, /time set and we do noon, and we run this back a couple of times, you'll see here that days played is now 3. If you've had a long time world, turn this on. It'll probably say you've survived hundreds, if not thousands of days. There was also a bunch more user interface changes. Again, I'm just not going to place all of these on signs because today's video is a really, really long one. Last, but certainly not least, technical updates. Let's read the changelog. This update is also incredibly important for technical players. Remember, the add-on templates have now been updated to 1.21.0. We have a ton of API changes, and going forward, a lot of these are going to be important for not only marketplace add-ons, but also community created. Like I said, if you're interested, please read the changelog. There's a lot of changes. And just like that, another update is now complete for Minecraft. I don't know if anyone's watching right now, but if you are, just leave a comment and say, hey, Echo, those cows look pretty good. Besides that, if you do have any questions or problems, leave some comments down below. I hope you back up your worlds. I hope you enjoy this update, and I hope you have a wonderful day.